In our first story, a delegation from the Independent Electoral Commission of Lesotho is in the country on a learning visit of management of elections. Chairperson of Malawi Electoral Commission, Justice Annabel Mtalimanja, says Malawi and Lesotho share many things in common and that the visit will help the two countries learn from each other. Patrick Dambula with the details in this report.
Among some areas, the delegation from the Independent Elections Commission of Lesotho, IEC, is interested to learn from the Malawi Electoral Commission on issues like information and communication technology operations and elections logistics. At the beginning of their visit, Chairperson of the IEC, John Mapepe, told MPC that Malawi and Lesotho have a number of things in common, hence it is easy to learn from this country. He said Malawi stands out as an excellent learning point from this part of Africa because it has managed to successfully combine three elections, namely presidential, parliamentary and local government. Mapepe said since Lesotho also intends to combine such elections, they thought it wise to learn from the successes of MEC.
We'll be looking at how you consolidate the different pieces of elections to come together to actually work for the recent Malawi elections. I think it's legal notice number 10 of 2023.
Chairperson of the Malawi Electoral Commission, MEC, Justice Annabel Mtalimanja, hailed the relations which MEC has with the sister organizations in the SADC region. She described such gatherings as a learning point where electoral bodies can share experiences and learn from each other.
This study was good at planning first, and it presents an opportunity for both the nations to share experiences and also a learning opportunity so that we can enhance our individual collective capacities.
Lesotho is set to hold its next elections in October 2027. Patrick Dambula, MPC News, Lilongwe.
Government says it will release farm gate prices for the 2025-2026 farming season soon. This is according to Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Water Sanitation, Erica Maganga. Meanwhile, agricultural expert Tamvani has advised farmers to wait for government prices. Some are currently selling at a 50 kilogram bag of maize at 20,000 kwacha only. We have a joint report by James Kajepa and Upile Gaisa.
Reports continue to rise that some farmers in some parts of the country, like Mulanje, Tiolo, Palombe and Ncheu, are selling their just harvested maize to traders. In an effort to protect farmers from exploitation by the traders, the Minister of Agriculture and Water Development says it will soon release farm gate prices. While expressing knowledge of the existing informal prices for just harvested farm imports, the Minister's Principal Secretary, Erica Maganga, added that the government is concluding discussions on the prices with the key stakeholders in the sector. Meanwhile, agriculture expert Tamvani has advised farmers to exercise patience, warning possibilities of incurring losses and hunger if they continue to market their farm produce in the absence of the set prices by the government.
When you look at the cost of maize at the market, it does not align with the cost of inputs like fertilizers. So if these farmers indeed bought these fertilizers from the commercial markets and they are selling at this price, then they are likely going to make a huge loss at the end of the day. If these farmers have not yet made proper calculations in terms of how much they should keep for themselves and take this maize to the market, so farmers need to be very careful because they may be selling their maize to answer the immediate needs, but they should also take into consideration that they will need this food throughout the year. So it is very important that farmers need to make those proper calculations because there are implications in as far as the food security is concerned.
In the 2025 to 2026 farming season, Malawi is anticipating to harvest a total of about 3 million metric tons of maize, slightly higher than 2.7 million in the 2024 to 2025 farming season.
Malawi's recent polio vaccination campaign has been hailed as a success, with several districts exceeding their targets and achieving high coverage rates. Details in this report.
Ministry of Health launched massive polio vaccination campaign across the country from 24th March to 27th March, targeting children aged 0 to 10. In Blantyre, Chief Preventive Health Officer Innocent Mvula said the campaign targeted 425,000 children but successfully reached 435 children, representing 103% coverage. Despite the achievement, Mvula urged some religious leaders to stop discouraging their followers from vaccinating their children.
My message is all that we are doing is trying to protect the lives of our children. We as leaders, we have to think about this. The vaccines that we are giving to our children are very safe, and as I've said, they are meant to protect their future. The first polio case was identified here in Blantyre, and means Blantyre is heavily at risk of this circulating virus. So if we work together, we can do away with this polio virus that is circulating in Blantyre.
The Central Region has also recorded remarkable results. According to Lilongwe District Health Office spokesperson Richard Mvula, the district achieved nearly 93% coverage, despite receiving fewer vaccine doses than required for its target population. He attributed the success to strong support from parents and schools.
In Lilongwe, our target was 815,000 children. We managed to vaccinate 93% of our target population. This is a positive result, looking at the enormous work which was there. This achievement is not only attributable to health workers, but to good working relationship and collaboration between community members, parents, caregivers, as well as other stakeholders such as Ministry of Education. If we are to look at the target population, which is less than 10 years, the majority of these are in schools. And schools mobilized all the children, and we've seen overwhelming support.
The Northern Region has also achieved outstanding results. Nzimba North, just like Blantyre, surpassed its target as well. Director of Health and Sanitation Services, Dr. Wamaka Msopole, said the campaign reached 185,656 children against a target of 180,589, achieving a 103% vaccination rate.
I think the campaign has gone on very well. We had a target of reaching out to about 180,000 children who are less than 10 years of age. We reached out to about 185,000 children as of Friday, which is about 103% of the target. But we know that we've probably surpassed the target, because even on Saturday last week, we also went into the villages and locations just to get to vaccinate any children that we might have missed in the 4 days that we had initially planned for.
The nationwide campaign was conducted in partnership with the World Health Organization, WHO, and the UNICEF.
Medical Council of Malawi has disciplined several medical practitioners over a range of professional misconduct, including work negligence and running private clinics without authorization. In an interview with MBC, the Council's registrar and the CEO, Dr. David Zolowere, says those that have been found guilty have been given different penalties. Zolowere has since warned medical practitioners to do their work professionally. He now explains.
The Medical Council of Malawi reviewed 20 cases in March. So out of those 20 cases, 13 resulted in guilty verdicts, 5 were not guilty, and 2 of the cases were referred to the police because they were criminal in nature. The list that we shared through the press release were for 13 practitioners and officers that were found guilty. And the cases ranged from forgery of internship reports, and then there were also falsified reports, practicing private facilities without registration, and failure to manage patients appropriately. In summary, there were cases of incompetence, cases of negligence and cases of disgraceful conduct. And the punishments have ranged from others have been fined, others have been required to study, learn, and deliver a continuing professional development training. This is intended for them to learn, teach others, and avoid recurrence. Some of them have been required to address, especially on the management side, to address infrastructure and human resources issues which may have contributed to the poor outcomes. Some of the clinics have been closed, and in other cases we also had actually a deregistration.
Some flood survivors in Malawi are said to be receiving more than just relief. They're being given a choice. Through a cash transfer program by the Malawi Red Cross Society, affected families are now deciding for themselves on how best to rebuild their lives. But while the approach restores dignity, it also raises questions about the risks and long-term impact. Miriam Galiza reports.
In Malawi, disaster response has often meant decisions made in boardrooms about what survivors should receive, leaving little room for personal choice. But for families displaced by floods, this cash 90,000 kwacha per month for 3 months is more than aid. It is the freedom to decide. Humanitarian experts say cash transfers are increasingly replacing traditional handouts, putting dignity back into disaster response. The Malawi Red Cross Society, with support from the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, is distributing the funds to over 11,000 households affected in Nkhotakota. According to the Director of Programs and Development at the Malawi Red Cross Society, Leonard Maganga, the shift from in-kind aid to cash transfers is based on the assessments showing that local markets remain functional, allowing beneficiaries to buy food, rebuild shelters, and meet other urgent household needs.
The cash we are giving out is non-restricted cash. They can use it for anything, much as it is meeting the needs that they have in their households.
At Ntiramanja Trading Center in Nkhotakota, flood survivor Alinafe Kolowa carefully counts her money, weighing what her family needs most. The 41-year-old mother of 9 says her home and field were washed away, forcing the family to seek shelter elsewhere.
The money that I have received today, I'll use part of it to mold bricks and start rebuilding my house. The other portion will go towards a small-scale business and a vegetable garden, which I will later sell.
Another beneficiary, Zwone Bashir, who also lost all her properties in the floods, says even though the money is not enough, it will help in other areas. She also admitted to have received other items from other well-wishers.
Even though the money cannot manage to help with all of our challenges, we will sort out some programs since we are farmers. And so far, we received tents, beans, maize flour, and other things, and the money will complement that.
But while the approach empowers communities, it is not without challenges. Reports indicate that some beneficiaries misuse the funds, with some resorting to alcohol abuse or risky behaviors. For her part, Deputy Director for Preparedness at Dodma, Nelly Kalingamaliro, says while the cash assistance may not be sufficient amid rising prices, beneficiaries must use it responsibly. She adds that post-distribution assessment will be conducted to track how the money is being used.
Money as it is, it's never enough. But it will go a long way in assisting the people to maybe replace some of the things that they've lost, or maybe repair some of the damage on their houses, or buy some important items for the household. So this money is important.
And representing the Nkhotakota District Commissioner, Chief Education Officer Alfred Shidiwa, says the assistance is timely.
This is very important because as a government we cannot manage to do everything alone, and we don't have a specific place where we can have the money. We just rely so much on the authority and maybe what the Secretariat gets.
In disaster response, dignity is often overlooked. But in Nkhotakota and other affected districts, the cash being distributed is expected to do more than meet immediate needs. It is giving people back their voice. Miriam Kaliza, MBC News, Nkhotakota.
This is MBC News, a reminder of our top stories. Lesotho electoral delegation visits Malawi for an election management study. Government to announce the 2025-2026 farm gate prices soon. And Flames set to face Botswana in Mukuru 4 tournament this afternoon. Moving on, the Malawi Bureau of Standards, MBS, has urged the traders in Mangochi to adhere to guidelines established by the Bureau when selling their products. MBS Senior Certification Officer Simon Manyinda was speaking during a market inspection tour in the district where officers from the Bureau confiscated expired products, among other activities. According to Manyinda, the inspections are crucial in protecting consumers from malpractice by traders. Dave Umar reports.
Officers from the Malawi Bureau of Standards, MBS, conducted a comprehensive market inspection tour across several key trading centers in Mangochi, including the main town, Cape Maclear, Ntakataka-Tenof, Monkey Bay, and Makawa Trading Center, among other markets. The exercise was aimed to assess compliance with established product standards and consumer protection guidelines. During the tour, MBS Senior Certification Officer Simon Manyinda commended traders who adhered to the Bureau's regulations, noting that their commitment fosters a conducive environment for both buyers and sellers.
The sellers, they want their products to be patronized by the consumers so that they make money, they make profits. But at the same time now what we say is, first of all, their products are supposed to comply with the relevant standards. Because if a product is complying with the relevant standards, what it means that that product is safe for consumption to the consumer, and when the consumer buys that particular product, he consumes that, he uses it that in any way, there won't be any problem. So what would that mean is next time you come again, if it's a product brand, the next time he comes, he'll go for that product brand, and at the end of the day, the consumer will win such that in a way that he's safe after using the product, and that the manufacturers or the sellers, they will also benefit in such a way that they are having more customers coming for their product brand.
Manyinda, however, said the inspection revealed some concerning issues, including missing or blurred expiry date labels and the sale of expired products. In one case, a shop at Ntakataka-Tenof was closed after inspectors discovered expired goods. Despite these challenges, Manyinda highlighted that traders demonstrated awareness of their role in consumer protection, which was evident during the inspections, as explained by one of the traders, Comfort Banda.
Our law here is to make sure that our products, they are so quality, and the customers, when they're coming inside the shop, they have to see it that we have an expiring date, and also if they have a complaint like to their health, they have also to come to us and to tell us.
MBS has since affirmed its ongoing commitment to conducting regular market inspections to ensure market sanity and protect consumers. The Bureau emphasized that these efforts are vital in maintaining product quality standards and fostering trust within the marketplace. Dave Umar, MBC News, Mangochi.
The Technical, Entrepreneurial and Vocational Education and Training Authority, TVETA, says skilled graduates are key in ensuring that Malawi meets the Malawi 2063. TVETA Board Director Ani Javula made the observation at the end of a week-long training for external verifiers for technical colleges in the southern region. Tamvani has the details in this report.
The training, which took place at Naminjiwa Community Technical College in Palombe, drew together participants from various industries, such as the academia, regulatory bodies, and the manufacturing industry. Speaking at the end of the training, Javula said for a long time, there has been a mismatch between what colleges were offering and the requirements of the industry, hence the need for external verifiers.
When these graduates are trained by the colleges, they are sent to industry, and usually there's a gap. So we're trying to bridge the gap of the mismatch between the training being offered at technical colleges and the industry. Because when you look at the Malawi 2063, we are trying to build a Malawi which is industrialized. What will happen now is when we have these technicians, because they're key to the Malawi 2063. Because when you look at the Malawi 2063, even one of the pillars is the human capital development. So there's a huge linkage between technical education and Malawi 2063, because you cannot be industrialized if you do not have qualified technicians.
While concurring with Chavula, one of the participants, Grant Chirwa, said the training has equipped them with relevant knowledge on competence-based education training, CBET method, which stresses on competence as a key outcome of the learning process.
Well, when I was coming here at first, I never understood exactly how to become a professional external verifier. But through the training, right now when I go out, I'll be able to understand the difference between an external verifier and an internal verifier. I'll speak on both as an assessor who is a verifier, but also someone who is coming from the industry. We've had a gap. There was a gap whereby you produce students who are even scared. You ask them, do you know how to operate on this machine? You'll hear, well, I don't know. But in these trainings, at least when we are going to do the external verification, we are only producing the best. We are cooking the best. And for that, we believe that the vision of 2063 will all achieve it.
Over 40 participants have been certified as industry verifiers. According to TVETA, similar trainings will take place in the central and northern regions of the country. Temba Mwale, MBC News, Palombe.
Security in the Bangwe area in the city of Blantyre is expected to improve following a training session conducted to orient a newly formed executive community policing committee on how it will carry out its duties. Bangwe Police Station Officer Patrick Gongwa told MBC that after the police unit was established as an independent station on the 1st of April 2025, it was seen as important to strengthen the community policing efforts as a way of reducing crime in the area. The training follows the committee's election on 12 March 2026. Ben Navicha is the chairperson for the committee.
The meeting that we are having today is very significant as far as establishing community policing structures here in Bangwe. Since last year, April, Bangwe has grown to be a standalone station. We are a substation operating under Lindi Police Station, but now, since April last year, we are now a full station as Bangwe Police Station. So we needed to establish our station executive committee that will steer community policing activities within Bangwe policing area. The key areas that we are disseminating today is orienting them on how the structures of community policing are in the police service.
We used to hear something like with Bangwe, this and that, meaning to say previously we had notorious people around Bangwe, but now they are able to understand that, peace should begin with them and should go around Bangwe, all around the whole country. There is nothing that can help a person apart from being living in a peaceful environment.
In sports, the Malawi national football team, the Flames, will wind up the Mukuru 4 tournament in Botswana as they face the host this afternoon. Flames will be focusing on securing a podium finish if they defeat Botswana, who are also looking at the same as both lost in their semi-final ties. Flames will be without key players such as Richard Mbulu, Charles Petro and Lloyd Aaron. Malawi lost to Zambia in post-match penalties during the semi-final tie, while Botswana lost 3-0 to Zimbabwe in the similar stage. Now, Mulanje District Council believes that Likubula Sports Arena project, which has been built at Likubula Valley on Mulanje Mountain, will change the district's sports history once completed. The project, which is on a standstill, was launched in 2024 and is funded by Malawi Gaming and Lotteries Authority, MAGLA. Mulanje District Sports Officer Sheriff Malunga says the facility, which will have both netball and football pitches, will help in promoting sports in the district, including the main porters race. Malunga explains.
Currently, the project, which aims at promoting sport, especially within Mulanje Mountain, as you are all aware that Mulanje Mountain is a tourism destination. So, through Mulanje Mountain Porters Race, we are implementing this project just to create a conducive environment for Porters Race event. So, and within the Kubwa Sports Arena, there will be a football pitch, a football facility, and other facilities and other sports facilities, for example, netball court, volleyball court, and basketball court. As of now, this project, which is being funded by Malawi Gaming Regulatory Authority, is on standstill, but I'm sure the district council, through other forums, is doing engagements with the sponsors of the project to make sure that the project is completed and Porters Race is conducted within the facility in the next coming years. So I can assure you that as a council we are anticipating lots of changes regarding how Porters Race is conducted once this project is completed.
And that item wraps up this edition of MBC News. A reminder of our top stories. Lesotho electoral delegation visits Malawi for an election management study. Government to announce the 2025-2026 farm gate prices soon. And Flames set to face Botswana in Mukuru 4 tournament this afternoon. For the latest news, follow our digital platforms by scanning the QR code at the top right corner of your TV screen. You've been with me, Romeo Omari. Many thanks for watching and good afternoon.
Something big is coming on NBC. Not what you've seen before. A new force is about to hit the road. Crafted for presence, engineered for power, designed to turn every head before it even arrives. You'll hear it before you see it. You'll feel it before you know it. This isn't just another launch. It's the beginning of advanced broadcasts. Unveiling soon on NBC. Stay ready.
Sabara ino mu program ya Woman Talk.
Kupemphera masiku ano kwalowa business.